Moira Black, and I'm on the scene at City Hall where I'm speaking with Andrew Spectre, one of the great members of our DOJ here in the city. First, can I have you just tell me a bit about your job? Tell me a bit about what you do, who you are, and what people contact you for on a daily basis.
Okay, so as Moira said, my name's Andrew Spectre. I'm the Attorney General here at the DOJ. And my role here in the DOJ is to basically do representations. I go down to PD, I represent people who are in the DOJ, who are in the cells, basically, who may be criminal or might be clear of any charges and they might have been falsely arrested. I also do meetings, whether that may be people who have warrants or they have been falsely accused, or it could be something to do with businesses. I tend to do the documentation for businesses around the city, and that is mostly what I do: documentation and representations, although I do try to refrain from representation as much as I can. As being the Attorney General of the DOJ, I am the appointed judge, and I make sure that I stay very clear to avoid anything of any sort that might cause a mistrial. But I try to make sure that I stay very positive around people. Within the DOJ, we have at the moment, and it's something that I prize myself on so much, of having a really good friendship with the PD and also with the citizens of LS. And I have made sure to show that to the other attorneys, to make sure that they show the same respect to everyone else, as that is something that we've made sure is mandatory here, to make sure that everyone's happy and people know to come to the DOJ for any legal needs whatsoever.
Excellent. I mean, you mentioned that you work as like an appointed judge. How does it feel to be in a position where you do have to make judgments on, the like making justice calls within the city? Is that like a quite a big thing to have on your shoulders? Is it quite stressful?
Oh, most definitely, Moira. I will say that it's one of those things that it's quite stressing. I will say. I mean, you have got so much responsibility on your shoulders, and it is something that you can't take lightly. And making sure that the work that you do, making sure you take the necessary steps leading up to any court date that may happen in the future, is done correctly, as it can cause complications. So I always try and prize myself on my work ethic and how I do things. And one of them things is always going by the book. And like I say, being the appointed judge is a very big responsibility, and it can be very stressful. But having a clear mind, having very good timekeeping skills, and being able to be very good in high pressure situations, I do say is a very good thing to have, especially for being an appointed judge.
Excellent stuff. I mean, I don't I know that it'd be a tough one for me, and I'm sure for most people in the city they'd find that to be way too much pressure
Mhm.
to deal with. I know that working in City Hall in general is quite a stressful job. I know that you
Mhm.
know uh, that a lot of people are looking to you guys to answer difficult questions, and I know that even if you answer one, there's always 10 more waiting to take the place of that.
Oh yeah.
um what are some of the things that you're working on at the minute that have been some tough challenges that you're facing, and how are you working to try and resolve these issues?
Okay, so we've had a big influx in citizens wanting to, sue, or they've had problems with PD members. It's very, very hard. It is one of those things that needs. And when I said earlier about having the necessary steps to make sure it is done correctly, that is one of those things. We get more and more people now every single day knowing that the DOJ is here, and we are here to help as much as we are. But we have plenty of citizens wanting to sue PD for reasons that may be fair or not fair. And one of those things is it's hard, because you need to have you need to be able to speak to that person, and sometimes those answers that you give those people is, unfortunately, we can't help you with that case. It is not a viable case that we can take, or it's not something that is needed to go to court. It could be done in another way. So we need, us at the DOJ, we do try and make sure that these cases that citizens have with PD are done correctly and also are viable to go to court, because some of them are not a case that needs to go to court. It can be done morally through conversations. So that
Or
is one.
settled out of court, sort of thing.
Of course, yeah, because not everything needs to go to court, and I do understand citizens. Some citizens of LS don't understand that, and that is totally understandable.
Of
But
course.
that's where we step in to make sure that we highlight that there is other ways of going about things. It's not just about going to court. Within the DOJ, you have a lot of responsibility, and responsibility has, sometimes consequences. I mean, one thing that I always put across to people who do have interviews here, is that you're going to have a heavy workload, but it's one of those things that keeps you busy. Obviously, you're going to be doing your representations, which means you're going to be getting involved in sometimes dealing with criminals who are notorious. Sometimes you're going to have people who are, been falsely accused, and you've got to try and, look, read between the lines of evidence, and having that keen eye to look in between the lines through, whether that's statements or that's, stories from, your client, or the arresting officers, and that's something that you'll be doing. The other thing that we do here is we do the meetings. Meetings can comprise of anything between, businesses to, false warrants to, you know, false charges that have been put on that need to be rectified. That doesn't refer back to the penal code. The thing is with DOJ is, I will say, it is not a job for everyone. But if you're one of those people that's looking to, strive to be something, that is quite respectable, and that's not to say other jobs aren't respectable, but it's a very big responsibility, and it does take a lot of knowledge to be here. I will say it's not something that you can just walk into and within days know what you're doing. It does take some time. But we are very supportive in the fact that we are always here to help, and not just for paralegals, which is the people who shadow our attorneys, but even attorneys. They ask me questions about some cases that they need help on. I always am more than happy to help. So we are a very supportive team. Not just myself, Paloma, the mayor of the city, she's also a very, very big help, and I've seen her help multiple people here as well within the DOJ. But it's one of those things that, if you're striving to do good and help people who are in need, whether that is legal or not legal, this is the place to be. Honestly, it is such a healthy work environment that you'll never be left behind.
Recently there were some issues where we had some people that were a bit upset with the way that some things were happening down at PD, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of drama sort of surrounding the whole situation, and people trying to not necessarily criticize the DOJ, but it seemed like there was a lot of unrest, and people were getting a bit rowdy in the streets. What would you like to say to people instead of going out and doing something like that? What are you urging people to do when it comes to people that might have discrepancies with the way that things are?
Yeah, of course. I mean, during that time, it was pretty mental. It was one of those things that, the Twitter posts were running rampant. Many posts asking for DOJ help, whether that was in seriousness or a sarcastic way, I don't know. But we at the DOJ have seen that DOJ help, and for the people who do need legal aid, we are here to be working overtime to attend to those people who need it. Obviously, with the Christmas time that's gone, and the New Year that's just most recently gone, not just us, but other companies and places around the city did slow down. But we've come out of that period now, and we are now set back up now to run overtime to make sure everything's that's getting done. But to the people who do need legal help, just pop in, put a meeting request in. We will help you. At that time, a lot of stuff was going on. I seen vehicles being blown up and people weren't happy with PD. I can't answer to that. I can't say why. I don't know. But, to see people get quite upset, to see that, some people did really need help.
Mm.
And it was at that time where, people were seeing family, they were flying back home to see family members, and we weren't there. And it really did pain me to see it. I mean, even myself, who was unable to be there, was trying my absolute hardest, contacting our other attorneys and even contacting the district attorney.
Excellent. Okay, so I think what we'll end on then is there anything that you'd like to add? Is there a message you'd like to give to the city about your job? I know that obviously you've said quite a lot already, but is there any summaries you'd like to make?
Yeah, just one final thing to sign off. We are currently hiring here at the DOJ, and if anyone is wanting to put an application through to get an interview to try to come here, please do. We are here to make sure that you get the proper training necessary. You will never be left behind, and to make sure that you are, exceeding in your job before you take that even further step to become a full-fledged attorney, before you do your bar exam. You will be ready before you do that, and you can take as much time as you need, and we are here to help you do that. As I've said previously, I do want to make it known it can be a stressful job. You'll have plenty of things to do, but it's a type of job prospect that you can really go high in, and a place where you can really do something with, and
You
quite
can make something. You can make something of
exactly,
yourself and make something of the city that you're working for.
exactly, and that is something that
Excellent
we
stuff.
strive to do here. So
Thank you so much for speaking with us, Andrew. We really do appreciate your time. We know
you're
that you're a
more than
busy
welcome.
man with all the stuff that you guys have going on. We both believe that DOJ is one of the most important aspects of the city. The work you do is sort of invaluable. There's no words to describe the work that you guys are putting in, and so thank you from us, obviously, for that. And obviously, if there's anything ever we can do to get your message across to the city, then that's what we'll obviously strive to do for you.
Thank you very much, Moira. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We'll leave it there, and we'll see you around. Thank you very much.
Thank you.